Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages.
Oh, the hell with it. Let's just start the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Vern and Bob's Star Trek show. My name is Vernon/Vern.
I'm Bob.
And we are here starting a new Star Trek themed podcast/video show where we're going to be talking about a lot of great things that we like about Star Trek, some things that we don't like about Star Trek, and maybe some other fun things along the way. But this first episode, we kind of just wanted to come on here and introduce ourselves and kind of give you a format of what the show is going to be about. Bob, are you excited about it?
Oh, I'm very excited. I've been, waiting a long time to actually do something like this, and finally the opportunity's here, so I can't wait to jump into it.
Very good, very good. I'm excited as well because I don't get to talk Star Trek with a lot of people because people are Star Wars fans, and I watch them, but
I'm with you. I watch them, but I much prefer Star Trek. That's always been my go-to.
By recent popular reviews, Star Trek has much better series than Star Wars. We're not going to get into all of that.
Shots fired on that. We're not even 30 seconds into
we just shut off half the audience that might have watched us. So first off, I do wanted to give an introduction to us. Bob, I'm going to let you go first. Tell us of why and how you got to love Star Trek and what it means to you.
So the how and the why, I don't really remember a specific moment when I first started watching Star Trek. I remember it was probably the late 80s, early 90s, and I would watch Star Trek The Next Generation with my dad. My dad would be watching, and I'd just go out there. I was 5, 6, 7 years old, and I'd just go and watch it with him. And I remember thinking, I was like, this is just fun. I just found it like fun. And I don't know if it was a little bit because I was sitting there watching it with my dad or because, I was like, oh, this is cool. But it was a cool concept. I liked it, and then I remember a few years every Christmas I would ask my dad, I would give him a list of episodes that I would want on VHS, and I would always get it. And it's just, it's something that, it always reminds me of spending time with my dad.
Yeah, I can remember my first experience with Star Trek. It was The Next Generation. I was younger, probably 10 or 11 years old, I believe it was. And it was just something on TV that was not Saturday morning cartoons. Got to watch all the Next Generations. What was it? Every Thursday, I think it came on.
Yeah.
So Thursday nights,
Something
I was
like
watching Star Trek and really started to enjoy the character of Data.
Oh yeah.
Something different for a change. And I can remember going from Next Generation to when I used to spend the night with my sister at her apartment. She didn't have cable, so she had UPN. And so basically my experience after that was Deep Space Nine, a little bit in Voyager.
My Deep Space Nine was, when I was younger, I didn't get into it that at that point because, okay, in Chicago, that's where I was when I was growing up. They had it on a very weird time in syndication. It was on WGN at like noon on a Saturday. So I was never ever home for it. And I just remember they always put it up there with like Xena Warrior Princess and Hercules, The Adventures of Hercules. And I was just like, ugh, this is but then Voyager came around, and Voyager was on UPN, and it was on like Wednesday nights, and it was in prime time. And I was like, oh man, I can get on board with this. Wasn't the greatest, but
I've actually my heart. We're gonna get into arguments.
Well, no, not really, because I'm about to explain. I said the older I got, I just rewatched it not too long ago, and I remember thinking, this isn't quite as bad as I remember it. And I don't know if it's because I remember it as being bad or if it's because other people always said it was bad. Right. And I was just like, oh yeah, that was shit. That was crap. And now I watch it. I'm like, you know what? it's got probably some of the best episodes of Star Trek on it,
Yeah.
and it's I mean, trust me, I get it. There's some real shit episodes, but all the series have shit episodes.
So what you're saying is your favorite episode of all Star Trek is Tuvix?
No,
No.
that's falling under the category when I said it's shit.
Hmm.
No, I mean that's an embarrassment for
Yes.
whoever wrote that.
So the beautiful thing about Star Trek for me being younger was I had all the Ninja Turtle toys, the real
Yeah.
Ghostbuster toys, and it graduated me up to something a little bit more mature that wasn't Tales from the Crypt, because that's the only other show I can remember watching
Mm,
whenever I was that young, other than cartoons.
yep.
My mom would let me watch Tales from the Crypt on HBO, and my favorite episode was when Christopher Reeves was serving up people hamburgers. But that's another story for another time. Um, yeah, and then I found a circle of friends that who I would have never thought loved Star Trek. They had more toys. I mean, they had the shuttlecrafts, the actual Enterprise, and that's how we would spend our afternoons, just role playing, Star Trek episodes.
I had the Klingon ship, I had the Romulan bird of prey, and I had the Enterprise, and I had 2 phasers.
I do remember, I had the I can't remember what it was, but it was this really thick, like magazine slash book that had all kinds of cool things in there. And one
Mhm.
of the things that I remember I wanted more than anything, and I actually carry one now. It's called a cell phone, but they had a they had
Yeah.
a tricorder from the Next Generation
I had that. I had the tricorder. Yeah.
that this thing would actually measure temperature, barometric pressure, like
Oh,
all
see,
kinds
that's
of things.
cool.
It would actually work similar to a tricorder. So,
See,
yeah,
that's cool.
but the fascination and everything is real because you look back at how much we watch, like, oh, that thing's cool, that thing's cool. And other than flying spaceships, which we are getting there, we almost have everything that
Oh,
existed in the Star Trek universe.
yeah. So
So we have a love of the toys and all the stuff that we grew up with. Was there anything else that you absolutely came
I
to
can
love about Star Trek?
it's it's a story about I can remember when I saw my first Star Trek movie,
Okay.
and it's very, very engraved in my mind because it freaked me the fuck out when
What does
I was
God need
watching.
with a starship?
No, that was on my TikTok, and that's probably one of the best lines ever uttered in a Star Trek movie, and it's from one of
Indeed.
the worst Star Trek movies.
Indeed.
I'll tell you what, that movie had some of the best fucking lines in that because right after that, Bones comes up to him and goes, "You don't ask the Almighty for his ID." And then, like right before that, too, you have Scotty goes, "I know this ship like the back of my hand," and he turns around and hits his.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was little. It was at the house. It was my dad was watching it on TV, and it was Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan, and it was the scene where Khan puts the little ear things
Oh
in
God.
Chekhov. Oh God, what was his name? Captain. Can't remember his name. I'm gonna.
Wasn't Price, was it?
No. I can't remember what his name was, and I'm sure we'll get comments.
Yeah. You're supposed
Um,
to be professionals.
well, fuck, I'm
That's the
confused.
beauty of the internet,
Um,
folks. We're
But
human.
it was that scene, and I remember going, "Oh my god," that gave me nightmares because I was probably no more than 5 or 6 when I saw that. I was like, "Ah,
And
ah."
the visual effects were not that bad for the time of that,
They weren't terrible. I mean, for a 5-year-old, I could have 6-year-old, whatever. I could have been. I was like, "Good, oh my god, they're really putting shit in this guy's ear." I mean, I
Yeah.
watch it now, and I'm like,
Your
I
ears
don't
itching
know."
the rest of the day.
Yeah, and it's something that I'll always remember. That's how I always remembered the first time I saw a Star Trek movie.
My first Star Trek movie that I ever saw was, in fact, Undiscovered Country.
Mm.
Um, but the one that sticks out the most in my memory was getting to go to the movie theaters and watching Generations.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was my
because
first in theater movie for Star Trek as well.
not that the Next Generation already didn't do it for me, but seeing Klingon women on a big screen,
Mhm.
mhm,
Especially those 2.
yeah, and yeah, That's all we're going to say about that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Not get too graphic into
yeah.
this first episode.
First episode, we don't need to throw it all out there.
That's for later on.
Yeah.
Down the
the,
line.
the after hour Star Trek program.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, go ahead.
No. That's basically, yeah, no, it's
There you are.
that's
So
that's all I got.
So since we are talking about, our love to Star Trek and everything, kind of we'll go into more of this down the road with different episodes. But, right off the top, favorite Star Trek character.
Put me right on the spot there. Favorite Star Trek character of any show.
Any
right?
show, yeah.
It's gonna be it's not a main character, I'll tell you that much. And I think a lot of people are gonna know it if some of the people from my TikTok are watching this.
Andy Dick is a hologram.
No, but I have posted quite a few pictures. You know what? It's gonna be there's 1 and 1B on my list, and it's the first one's gonna be Q.
Okay.
Q from Star Trek The Next Generation, not Q from DS9 or Voyager. I just thought he was every time even the first season episodes with Q, you couldn't go wrong with them. John Delancey is just a master at his craft. It was always so enjoyable to watch him when he would come on. And when I would see a preview that Q was going to be, I was like, yes, thank you.
So you don't like the female Q that was originally
she had
girlfriend, and
then, and then she was Dr. Solar in the first season of Next Generation.
You are correct.
The one and only time you see Dr. Solar, but she's mentioned about 1 million times through the first 6 seasons. And then my second one is the Doctor from Voyager.
Very nice.
What for a main character, what a story arc he has through that 7 seasons. Probably the best main character story arc, I would say, of any Star Trek show. Just from where he was in the first season to where he is in season 7 is, to me, it's one of the best.
So you can't tell it right now because the lady butchered my hair the last time that I went. But anybody that sees pictures from me for the last 8 months, mine is kind of a tie between 2 different people. Number 1, the hair, which is Captain Pike from Strange New Worlds.
Watched 1 episode of that.
Really?
Just 1 episode.
Hopefully it'll pull a Voyager on you and get better as you go. I love it.
I don't know, but I will tell you, none of the new stuff does it for me. It's Lower Decks, maybe a little bit. It's funny. I like it.
Lower Decks is fun.
But nothing else. I'm not a Discovery fan. Picard sucked up until the last 4 or 5 episodes of the 3rd season. And then
For you being your favorite character, I'm surprised you're saying that.
No, I didn't like the 2nd season of
it was too much of this because you couldn't tell whether Q was good, Q was bad, Q was Q.
Yeah, I just
too many fences there.
Don't get me started on that 2nd season. Well, I'm sure that'll be.
We'll get there.
We'll get there at some point.
But my main favorite, even though I mentioned Data before, I have to agree with you. The Doctor, you can't beat it.
No, you really can't.
Robert Picardo,
the
entire time just delivers.
He's
going from a hologram with an attitude to a full-fledged member of the crew.
His performance in the first season, where he's just an absolute asshole to like everybody, is just he's so good at those little barbs he gives people. I absolutely, and then the way you see him in season 7, where basically seasons 5 and 6, he's a hologram that's training a former Borg how to be human.
Right.
How
does the computer train someone to be human, but does it better than anybody else?
Right. And he does an amazing job. And it's by that point, you're like, oh man, he's just another member of the crew. He's, a person.
Did you want to see him and Seven together, or you have?
No, I never. I've seen people make those posts. I never had that. I thought I liked their relationship without all that. Like,
Mhm.
they had this where you could tell they both cared for each other.
Missed opportunity not having him in Picard.
That's probably my biggest thing. There was a couple. I felt the way they misused Moriarty in there, where they just had him in there for that short period of time that made no fucking sense whatsoever.
So much hype.
Yeah,
You're like,
and
yes, and
I
then
saw him, and then, like, it was as fast as he was there, he was gone. And I
right.
was like, "What is this?" And but yeah, no, I don't understand why he couldn't be in. He's, his character's a hologram. I get that people age, but look what you did with Data.
Yeah,
I mean,
puffy around the
I
neck
think
a little
so.
bit,
There's there
but
was there was a
still look good.
there was a bunch of missed opportunities that they could have done with Picard and brought things back. I mean, yeah, I would have liked to have seen him in Picard.
Yeah. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a who we are, why we love Star Trek, and a few of the sneak peeks of things to come with what we have to say. Um, One thing we did want to go over was what you can expect as far as formats of our shows. We are going to be doing 2 episodes a month starting out, because too much at the beginning is too much until we kind of get our flow and everything like that.
Mhm.
But really, we're going to be focusing on one week, our favorite episodes of, or we'll go favorite episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, season 1.
Mhm.
Following show will be a discussion of our not so favorite episode of Star Trek season 1. And we do have some overlaying where Bob has some of his favorites that are not some of my favorites.
So
And
we should tell them we came up with a top 5 of each category. So our top 5 favorite, which I don't know if you can call them all my favorites. They're the ones that I can tolerate and watch more than, the others. And then there's the top 5 worst that we feel are the worst of that season. Mhm.
But yeah, it's going to be a fun time. We're going to have difference of opinions. We definitely want to hear your opinions. Definitely, whenever
Oh, for
these
sure.
episodes drop, anywhere you can leave a comment, please do so.
Yeah.
Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you agree, disagreed. We're definitely open for open commentary, because that's why we do this. We just don't want to talk to each other. We want to talk to you as well. So meaning, or switching over to being able to talk to you and interact with you, social media is a thing.
Yes.
You can find us both on TikTok, but we're going to talk about where we can primarily find stuff for the show at.
Okay, so what I have is, and a lot of people that are seeing this may know me as, I have my TikTok and it's Trekkie83. At this point, I have about 25,000 followers and a very loyal Star Trek fan base on that platform. There's a lot of very good discussions, a very good, dialogue back and forth for the most part. But you can always find me there. That's TikTok Trekkie83. That's the one I'm going to be mainly promoting the show on for now. And then down the line, we can move on and, probably start one for the show. I will, hopefully, by the time this episode drops, we will have our Discord up and running as well, and we'll have a link for all these in the descriptions down below.
Mhm.
What's your do you have a TikTok that you or anything you want to share with?
I do have a TikTok. It's more toward the paranormal investigation side of my life,
Hmm.
but it's basically at WVGLAG. Feel free to give a follow. I follow back. Obviously, I don't buy followers and all that kind of stuff. Um,
No. Mm-mm.
but definitely, whenever you find us on the channel here, definitely remember to give us a like, which is a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications whenever you do that, so that you can be updated whenever we post new content. Um, Anything else you want to talk about before we close this first episode out? I think we talked a little bit about everything that's going to be going on.
Yeah, we really hit on a lot of good stuff on this episode, and I just look forward to what we get into on this show. I'm really looking forward to the recommendations of the watcher, the viewers, letting us know, hey, check out this episode. Let us know what you think
Mm.
about this episode, or what do you guys think of like a certain topic, like the Borg or the holodeck, because there's a lot of people out there that hate holodeck episodes.
I have my
I don't.
opinion.
I love holodeck episodes. They're just, to me, they're just fun episodes that, you can just not really have to think much about. There are a few in there, but I very much enjoy a good holodeck episode, but that's me. So
I think about holodeck episodes, and I know I'm going to get booed straight off this channel. Like, people are not going to like it when I say this, but holodeck episodes make as much sense to me as far as the parameters of the holodeck, the physics, everything like that. They make as much sense to me as Back to the Future 3.
that's a discussion we can have for another podcast, because I
Yeah.
disagree with that one.
Yeah.
But no, I get it. I get it. Like I said, if any of my TikTokers are here, they know I don't understand the physics of a holodeck. Don't make sense.
Right.
Just absolutely do not make sense to me. But I still enjoy. I still enjoy the concept. I wish I had a holodeck. I think that would be the greatest thing. Nobody would ever see me again. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, especially if it's the one on Deep Space Nine, where it's a hollow suite and Quark is.
That makes even less sense to me because of the size of it, and compared to where, like, they created the casino, and somehow in that small little room, everybody can be in 5 different locations in this hotel at once. It doesn't. I just don't get that. It just doesn't make sense to me.
But I will say, and this is kind of a sneak peek for later, one of my favorite episodes of The Next Generation is whenever they were at the was it the Casino Royale? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, season 2, the Royale. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that episode. Simple, sweet, fun.
That's one of my, when we get to season 2, that I can tell you right now, that's going to be on one of my favorites. And it would probably be in my top 10 of guilty pleasure episodes, because that to me was just, you got some funny lines with Data and the gambling guy, Tex or whatever he went by, but it was just the cheesy story from the book. I mean, it was just so well written, and it was like that. It really showed you what that show could be, especially in season 2. Season 2 had some really, we get a glimpse of what that show is going to turn into.
Right.
And I think that's one of the episodes. It's a very Star Trek episode, like original Star Trek episode. So I don't want to keep diving into these subjects that we're going to be touching.
We're spoiling it all for everybody.
We're giving out spoilers.
But yeah, thank you guys for stopping by, giving us a chance. Again, please hit that like button, subscribe, the bell for notifications, and we got to have an outro. So
yeah, I don't
want to use the same old live long and prosperous. So for now, we're just going to say, everybody, have a great day.
See you later.